I'm Astrid Linthorst. I'm a professor of neuroscience at the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom. And my interest in my research is basically stress, because stress is such an important component in many psychiatric diseases. And I and my group, we really want to study this from a basic neuroscience perspective. So we are looking at the effects of stress on neurotransmitters in the brain and how circuits are being altered by stress. But we are also looking at the stress hormone systems. So I have a keen interest in glucocorticoid hormones, which are the major output of our stress system, and how they affect different processes like neurotransmission again, but also the effect on other processes in the brain, like cognitive processes, for instance. I have been elected to be the chair of the Scientific Programme Committee for 3 different congresses in a row. That's basically for Vienna, where we are now, but also for the next conference in Paris, and then the next one in Barcelona in 2018. And that means that I'm together with a whole committee, the Scientific Programme Committee, are responsible for the scientific content of the program of these 3 congresses. So what we basically do is we invite proposals from our colleagues or from the scientific community for symposia that they think we should really have in our program. So what we then do is we score all those proposals and then meet with the Scientific Programme Committee to discuss them all through in quite some detail. We select our proposals and make a nice program, a coherent program from that, which actually tries to highlight all the different aspects of what we are studying, so the mental health problems we are studying. While doing this, we pay close attention that we cover all those different aspects of psychiatric disease, but also that we look very carefully at symposia that tell us more about the basic neuroscience. So it's very important for us as ECNP to include basic neuroscientists and clinical neuroscientists, so that we know more about how drugs work, how diseases develop, what's the etiology behind certain diseases, and so that's what we are doing. So when we are making the program, we of course look to have a very good balance over the different countries, because Europe is very diverse. We also try to have speakers, female and male speakers, so that we have a good balance in the program there as well. It is very important to be at the forefront of science, and that's always what we will be looking at when making the program. And we do this by selecting speakers from which we know that they will push forward also over the coming year. Once they are invited, they won't stop, and that will be the status. So we are quite sure that they will bring us the latest science in their field. We do some brainstorming sessions as well, very early in the morning, where we also try to have some of the latest research, and of course the posters. The posters are very important for our Congress, and this year we have 1,100 poster presenters here, and they will really present their latest research. So there's a lot of scope for bringing in really new developments. At the ECNP Congress, we try to cover quite a large number of topics, which range, as I said, from basic to clinical neuroscience, but also topics like mood disorders, psychotic disorders, child and adolescent disorders, addiction, neurological diseases, so it's quite anxiety disorders, so quite a wide range. Nevertheless, you see topics emerging, and in this case in Vienna, we saw quite a number of symposia on biomarkers for bipolar disorders, but also for stress-related disorders, and specifically for stress sensitivity, and also biomarkers that can be used, neuroimaging biomarkers that can be used in child and adolescent disorders. So that's one thing you see specifically here in Vienna. And on the other hand, there is quite some attention for stress-related disorders as well. Yesterday we had a beautiful symposium on social stress, which also looked at the influence of environment, urban upbringing, these kind of issues, and that was very well attended by our colleagues. We will have a plenary lecture tomorrow by Professor Elisabeth Binder about early life events and the effects on stress-related disorders. So that's the theme which I think is quite predominant here, or prominent, I have to say, in Vienna. So one of the other things I think I would like to talk about is that we have a new type of session this year in Vienna. It's called Top Papers. And that means that we have 6 30-minute sessions on specific disorders. And we have asked a colleague to talk about the 4 to 5 best papers in that field from the previous year. And the idea behind it is that you can get a very quick update on the status and the new developments within a certain field. And that's something we do. It is new here in Vienna, so we hope there is a good take-up of that offer. It's happening over lunchtime. Thank you very much for bringing up the junior scientist, because that's something which is really close to my heart, I would say. ECNP really tries to help the younger generation to build up their careers, to learn as much as they can, and because they are the next generation who really needs to do the research. So we do different things for the junior scientist. First of all, there are 2 symposia that are specifically dedicated to junior scientists. There will be 8 presentations in each of those sessions, and the speakers have been selected from the ECNP workshop that has been held in Nice. Every year in March we have this workshop where junior scientists come and present their results, and the best of those presenters are selected to speak also at this Congress. So that is something really, really important, and we always hope that many of the participants will go to those sessions. Then we do a few career development sessions for junior scientists, which can range from different topics. This year I will be giving one myself, talking about how to build up your CV. That means what you should focus on, when, what would be important to keep in mind when you want to go through an academic career and a career in research specifically. So that's something we really do for the junior scientists. And there are all kinds of other initiatives. They have a lounge where they can go and discuss among themselves. And there is an event called Science on the Rocks for them as well, where they can go in the evening and have a chat with each other. I think ECNP is really a highlight of the year, and that is because, and of course I'm the chair of the Scientific Programme Committee, so you may expect me to say this, but I think we have a very strong program. We are able to bring over quite a number of speakers from different fields, from different disciplines within their field. They have the opportunity to interact here, to present to us the latest research. So coming to ECNP is really a possibility to see what's happening in research, but also to make new contacts. There are loads of opportunities to network with people, to ask speakers questions afterwards. So you can start to build up your network or expanding your network and maybe start new collaborations. So that's why I think it is really a highlight. And also because it's very dynamic with all the different types of sessions. We don't have only symposia, but we do educational sessions as well. So also if you are a basic scientist and you want to learn more about the disease you are working on, you can go to an educational session as well. Poster sessions in a different format, where you can have more easy discussions about the work, a bit more in detail as well. So I think that's what makes this a very strong congress, basically. Because we are now in Vienna, which and I'm really enjoying that. But you might be interested to know that, of course, we are already very busy with next year's Congress in Paris, and we have had our the meetings with our Scientific Programme Committee already in April and June this year, and we have come up with a really interesting program again. We secured 6 eminent plenary speakers, and also an excellent keynote speaker as well. I think everybody will be looking forward to. So we are working hard to complete the program, which we will do over the next month or so, and then it will be. There's already some details are already on the website, but then it will be fully published very soon. So this year in Vienna, we had an excellent keynote speaker, Professor Kay Jameson from the US, who spoke to us about creativity and mood disorders. But next year we will have another excellent, eminent speaker, and that is John Crystal, also from the USA, and he will be speaking about ketamine. And of course there's lots of interest in ketamine in psychiatric disease, so I think he will bring us up to date with the latest developments there, which will be a real highlight again.